Hi, my name is Nova and welcome to That's So Nova. It's the first time, if this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and sewing with me. Today we're going to do a tutorial from Toby Style, the Zaya bag. This bag in particular is a very high-end, lush bag, but somehow Toby performs her magic sojo and creates a bag that's an easy pattern to follow, and it's perfect for domestic and or industrial machines. It depends on your material. This is not a bag that we would suggest you using cotton woven. Is it possible? Yes, but the way it's constructed, it would be better if you use like vinyl, cork, craft tex, leather, you know, a material that won't fray. Possibly even like waterproof canvas might be really cool, because now a lot of waterproof canvases are coming out with like different patterns and styles of prints. So it should be that'll be really nice and interesting. This bag is definitely high end. It gives you a Fifth Avenue Hermes, just high end. We have a beautiful butterfly as bling, which I think you can add additional bling on it, like maybe putting little bedazzles or crystals all over it. I think a crystal one would be magnificent, but I do not know how to bedazzle or put crystals on, so it was an idea I had. I was like, oh, this would be amazing if it was all silver, but no, at last I can't do that. we have hidden strap connectors. We have these nice sturdy handles with a bridge on the top. We have adorable purse feet, and you can use whatever closure you want. It could be magnetic, snap, thumb lock, you name it, for your closure. You have the exterior fabric going down into the front of the flap. We have a nice zipper pocket and a nice slip pocket. And on my slip pocket, I put my little name tag because honestly, I didn't want to put any other thing to distract from the beauty of this bag. This bag is absolutely, it's gorgeous. So, we went over the anatomy of the bag. It doesn't have a lot of pieces. We have one large exterior piece, two small interior pieces, and then we have the side panels, and it's it. I don't know how she does it, but she really knows how to make high-end bags that are not complicated and not so many pages. And you could just respect that the way that she thinks is just amazing. So we're going to get started on this bag. The first thing you're going to need is your interfacing. You can use Decaville Heavy, Pellon 71 or Peltex 71, Stiff Stuff. There is leather board making. I didn't have any, but I love putting that on the bottom of the bags. It is amazing. Thank you, Kindle. But it's one of the most... It's relatively inexpensive, but it gives bags really a nice structure. I will put links to the information down below. You can see it in the pattern too, that she uses that. I'm using Stiff Stuff, and I took the lines and I drew them out, and I kind of folded it how I want the bag, put a couple of clips, and you have your bag already coming together. We do not put this on until the end of the pattern, so it's pretty amazing how she does it. So you're going to need your 8.5 inch zipper pull, a bag lock, 4 purse feet, 3/4 of an inch bridge connectors, rivets, and D-rings and swivel hooks. And then I think there's a person that made where they had vinyl both on the inside and outside, and I really like the look of that, especially if it's like a thinner vinyl like the Mora from Emmeline Bags. So let's get started. So we talked about already the panels, the main panel for interfacing, crease it, have it into your position. And then you're going to take your main panel exterior and draw a 3/4 of an inch edge, which coincidentally is the exact same as the pattern piece that we use for making our interfacing. So what you do is you line up the lines, and then you draw 3/4 of an inch all the way around, and you can use glue within the seam allowance and let it get tacky and do it. I'm using double-sided tape. The glue that I used on my first bag, it kept coming out, So I'm trying something new with this with double-sided tape. It may not be the best method. It might be better to use Fabri-Tac or some kind of other glue to make sure that those sides stay in. So you're supposed to lay glue towards the edges, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take I'm going to take off the tape. You're going to take your glue. And let's see. We're going to peel back. We're going to peel back, and I'm going to start folding to the 3/4 of an inch line. Now, if you're a person that is on your domestic and your machine does not like double-sided tape, then I would highly recommend doing glue and just being a little patient, put the glue on, let it sit for 5 minutes and get real tacky, and then you can roll your seam allowance. So we're going to, there's going to be little triangle things, and we're going to be doing some trimming. But we first want to get all the sides taken care of. And if you see, I have like a roller here. Because I'm using vinyl, you can't iron it. So the best thing is to get a seam roller, and it kind of like pushes the glue down even further. And just, it makes things really nice and neat. And just take your time, roll out the seams. I don't know about you, but this tape from wawak, it could take off my nail polish. I just like give up sometimes. And as you see, when I get to the top, before I finish this seam, I'm going to try to roll out this top, because you want to have the little corners exactly how she has it in the diagrams, where the puckers are coming in from the side. So when we cut down, it's not going to be seen. We're going to cut down like a V, and I will show you that after we make sure this is all smooth. So far, I'm liking the tape. Let's cross our fingers that it doesn't pop up again. It probably is, but if it does, it's cool. See, there's little mountains, and it's okay. We're going to do some trimming. Take your time, roll it out. If you see like little ripples, start rolling it right away, so that way you just lock down being glue. And we're just continuing folding this in the line. It's not the funnest part, but like I said, the pattern pieces are very interesting because you're kind of seeing your whole bag come together in a couple steps, which is always like satisfying and gratifying when you see your bag together. So on these little mountains, she wants you to cut a V shape from the bottom to the top corner. So like you're going to cut like a V down. I'm gonna do it again. Just cutting, we're just positioning our needles down, or not our needle, our scissors down, and these are just gonna go flying in the room. See how when you do it as a V, you're not really seeing the vinyl poke through. I'm just going to again roll this out to make sure that it's close as it's supposed to be. Doing the same thing over here. Yeah, I'm aggressive when I roll. like, just stay down. All right. So we have all that rolled out and chipped away. Don't put your roller away just yet because we're going to be using it again. We have markings that are on the pattern piece. That is where we're going to put our purse feet and our bridge connectors. See, we're already putting on hardware, and it's like the second step. So I'm going to use some purse feet from Emma Line, and I got my bridge connectors from Bringberry. I will link everything in the description. So we're going to grab a few bridge connectors, 2. And with that, I'm going to tape 2 of the bridge connectors tops and then grab 4 screws. And I'm using a metal bowl because I normally don't, but then somebody was like, yeah, just use a metal bowl and your stuff won't go missing while you're doing it. I'm like, oh my goodness, genius. All right. We have our connectors and purse feet. Okay. So I'm going to grab my hole punch, and I have it on the smallest setting. It says number 1. I'm going to punch out the hole for the feet. And then I'm going to put the feet in. You can have fun with this. If you don't have purse feet, you can use rivets. I do that a lot. Like if I don't have enough of just like a certain purse feet, I'll just like, oh, let me use some rivets. And it comes out just really nice. Or you can do like a fancy design like an X or something on the bottom if you just don't have it. There's always a substitute that you can use. It's just up to you whether or not you want to use it. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to put all the purse feet at once and then flip it over and then work it out. Okay. If things want to cooperate. So open your purse feet up if they want to. Oh, purse feet, how you always get me so. Okay, let's see. If your purse are being stubborn, you're just gonna have to work with it. I don't know why some purse feet come and then like you could just open them easily. Then you have the other ones where you're like using your fingernail, screwdriver, or whatever you have to open them up. Okay, put these other ones on. I'm just putting my scissors at the opening and just kind of running it up. Okay. Okay, and then we have one more. You know, the last one wants to be more difficult than all the rest because that's the way it works. Okay. And then on your purse feet, you could put duct tape. I'm actually trying out this new electrical tape that's supposed to stick really well. I will review it and let you know. Because sometimes my duct tape just not stick. I'll see other people and their duct tape is like glue. I know I heard some people say the Gorilla Glue duct tape is the best, so I need to stick that on my Amazon cart and try that. You put some kind of tape on here so it becomes like a buffer, so when there's friction in the bag, it doesn't like tear a hole in the interior, so it's kind of important. Okay, then we're going to put the bridge connectors in. And for the bridge connectors, I grab my pen, like your tandy leather pen or your silver pen that goes on vinyl and erases really well. I just mark kind of where the hole is. And I'm going to punch out holes. Okay, so I'm going to take one bridge connector. I'm going to make sure these holes are punched out clearly. Didn't get punched out really well, so I'm just going to re-punch it real quick. You can get these bridge connectors at Emmeline, Tandy Leather. I'm not 100%, but I think I've seen someone get some on Amazon. I will double check to see. You know how Amazon has everything. All right, let's go. Taking the bridge connector, I'm going to take one screw and just stick it on the back of the plate. Have it come out. Place the hole there. And I'm going to not tighten the screws all the way until I get the second screw inside, just to make sure that it's even and lined up. Okay. Now I'm going to tighten up the screws. So it looks like that. And I'm going to take off this film because when I put on the other one last time, I didn't take off the film and it was like really hard to get off. So put the plate in, put a screw, match the hole. Just a quick turn so that way we can make sure. Then tighten both of them up. If you want, you could put extra, like a piece of interfacing on the top to ensure, but these plates help make sure that they don't get pulled off. Okay, and take the film off that, and then we're going to install the male part of our turn lock. And I was trying to figure out which one I want to do, and I think I'm going to go for this big one. There's so many you can do. So I'm going to put in the male portion of the turn lock. Okay, so just be cognizant and unaware, whatever turn lock you do, when you sew, there's going to be this weird amount of bulk. So you got to be just a little bit concerned, I'm going to use a box cutter and make a punch. And for here, what I do is, where's my glue? Oh, here it is. Okay. I will put some mag tack or beacon glue, whatever you have on hand, and I will just run a bead of glue from side to side just to help it stay in position and just secure it even more. I just like glue too, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna grab this plate. And I'm going to stick down this, and then I'm going to grab some electrical tape. Then I'm going to also put it up here because I don't want friction. Even though there's going to be vinyl there, I just don't want friction. Okay, that tape's not, it won't work. It is super, it's like weird sticky. It's not like super duper sticky, but we shall see. Okay. So we have all that on. We're now going to put together the handle. I'm going to move this. We're going to, on the wrong side of the handle, you're going to draw a line, a center line. Then you're going to put double-sided tape on like 1/8 or 1/16 on either side of the line. You also use glue. I did use beacon glue in the first one, but I'm going to use double-sided tape on here. We're going to remove the double-sided tape. And we are going to fold towards the center, leaving like a 1/8 to 1/16 of them, just like a small gap. As you can tell, if you see on my thing, you're like, hey, why is this part green? I edge coated the edge of this so that way it looks seamless and it doesn't have that white mark. But I didn't put it all the way in the inside because I knew this was going to fold on each other. I do have an edge coating like tutorial. I'll link it in the description in case you need some further assistance. We're going to fold this on itself and grab a few clips for my honey pot. That just spilled over there. No one noticed. Okay, so we're going to fold this and just put a couple clips. If you see in her video, her tutorial, she's using hair clips. Use whatever you have available to you. Okay, and then we're going to sew around the edge from this top edge to this edge at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to back stitch. I'm using white thread because I want a contrast stitch, but you don't have to contrast stitch if you don't want to. If you're like, hey, my top stitching is not the best, just match it the closest you possibly can to your vinyl or your whatever materials you're using. I'm using this really pretty green vinyl that I got from, I was looking at a car upholstery place and they had this vinyl and I got it. I remember it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Well, that's another place you can get vinyl. You can get vinyl from furniture stores that are not going out of business necessarily. They just don't have, they 1 yard is not enough to, you know, do a chair or whatever, you will look at car places, places that make boats, like do the interior. Okay. Edge ed. Okay. I'm going to fold this over and hold on. Let's get this right. I'm doing 1/8 of an inch. Number 1 on my sewing machine is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to trim my threads. Okay, with the, we're going to make center marks at 3/8 of an inch and 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, so 3/8 of an inch. And 2.5. In both areas. Will help if I actually do 3/8 of an inch. Nova. I'm using a Westcott ruler. They're really inexpensive. They're like $2, $3, and I have a million of them. They're everywhere. So we're going to punch a hole at the 3/8 of an inch. And again at the 2.5. I really like this color. Okay. We are going to grab our handle. And we're going to thread this through, and it's going to get riveted. It's going to get some rivets put through it. I did have a box full of rivets. You know, like when you're sewing, everything goes missing? Yeah, that's happening to me right now. Sticking the male part in, connecting the female. And then we're going to grab our rivet press. I'm using one from Minkus and Margo. I've had this for like 2 or 3 years, and it's a great tool. It does save time. You could definitely use a regular die set and it will work just as well. It just saves your hands a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Feed it through. Put the cap on it. Set the rivet. And we have our handle already made. Like I said, this bag comes together pretty cool. So we're going to now grab our side connectors. And we're going to put double-sided tape and fold it. The ends could butt together because they're not going to be seen, and You just want them to be as close as possible. Do the same thing on this side. And you'll roll it with your seam roller. And we're going to, I have everything on this table now. We're going to sew it down at 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to just chain stitch this a little bit. So I'm going to start on 1/8 of an inch on this side. And I do like one back stitch. I want to lock in stitches whenever I can. I'm just putting it together. So instead of like getting threads and doing anything, I'm just going to go across this. Because no one's going to see it. But it saves, I don't know if it saves time necessarily, just it's convenient. Trim your threads, separate these, trim your threads. Okay. Then we're going to grab one of our side pieces. There is an area on the pattern that you are going to cut with a small rotary, whatever you have available. I am going to, this one's cut. I'm going to show you how I cut it. I just take a box cutter from the area that I had was drawn on the pattern piece, and I just take it along and slowly cut across. And try not to go over, just go exactly from where the pattern piece. I usually cut out the pattern pieces and then trace everything. So from here, we're going to now take the connector and pass it through the slit up to 3/4 of an inch. So I will draw on the wrong side where 3/4 of an inch is on both sides. On both pieces, I mean. So I will take this, move my cutting mat, I don't need that right now. And we are going to take this and put the raw edges in up to 3/4 of an inch. Then we're going to sew this side. So we're not putting it the opposite way. We're taking, this is the bottom of the pattern piece, this is the top. We stuck this on the inside 3/4 of an inch, and we're going to sew down here beneath the lip 1/8 of an inch. Now for this back stitch, because this is going to be a point that has a lot of stress because it's a strap connector. We're going to trim the threads, and then you're going to take your D-ring. And I didn't have regular 3/4 of an inch D-ring, but I have these really cool ones with a chain. I was like, why not? Why not? I love like different hardware. I don't know if you hear my puppy. He's sitting there whining. If he hears like me or my husband's voice, he's like, why aren't you with me? My daughter's with him, my eldest. He's a big puppy, but he surely does act like a baby sometimes. The bigger they are, the more they act like a baby, right? And he thinks he's really little. Like he wants to sit in your lap and stuff. You're like, no, 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 buddy. You're gonna hurt me. So we're gonna slide our D-ring on. We're going to take this other piece and shove it in. Shove it in there. It's going to be tight. You want it to be tight. You don't want it to be like a loose fitting, because then you're going to match these. and you have this beautiful hidden strap connector. You're going to now take a hole puncher, and punch the hole. Make sure that all the vinyl's connected. Then you're going to take a rivet and put it through all the layers. That's a medium-sized rivet. And then you're going to take your hole puncher. I keep saying it. Take your press or your anvil and set a rivet. And we're going to do it again real quick so you can see. Isn't that pretty though? That's so pretty. I love that. All right, so we're going to again stick. We're going to go, here's the bottom and here's the top. We're going to go into the slit, up to 3/4 of an inch. We're going to bring it over here to our sewing machine and back stitch 1/8 of an inch right here so I can lock it in. Do a few back stitches, not too much where it like perforates your vinyl, but enough where you're like, I feel confident. Okay. Trimming our threads. I've never done a hidden strap connector like this. I actually, now this is going to be my new way of doing it. It is super cool. The technique looks really clean. Like I said, she has this knack for making things look super high end and it's not a very complicated sewing pattern. So, and it's not a lot of steps. Like I said, she's really good at what she does. You're going to match your ends. See how clean that is, and we're going to now punch a hole, making sure all pieces are aligned. We're going to grab a rivet, sticking the male end piece in, taking the female, put it to the back. Beautiful. So we have our two pieces, side pieces. Now we're going to take, you're going to apply your glue or your double-sided tape like I have, and you're going to fold in to the line we made. I'm trying to turn the page and my fingers are like, no, not today. We're going to fold it into the edge, and we're going to make the side seams a little bit cleaner, so that way when we attach this, because we're about to do the exterior after this, it will be a nice and clean finish. Take your time because you do have hardware. I'm just going to roll that up here. Okay. And I'm doing the top first, so that way when it comes to the bottom, you can see exactly the method that she recommends in the pattern. We're going to fold these in on itself, and as we get to the corner, as it gets to the corner, what I did is I grabbed a pair of sharp scissors and I kind of made slits, like little snips, not going too far into the seam allowance, and we're going to curl it up on itself on this side, because we want a nice smooth finish. So Take your time, smooth it out as best as you can because you want a clean finish. And I'm going to put a clip on that while I'm doing the other side. So a few clips. And we're just going to, we're going to make that round edge. I know I took out clips. There we go. See, you want this to be nice and round and not boxy. But you also don't want a clip where you see the edge. I'm just going to seam rim. And then for the corners, we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to cut down in a V. Okay, we have one rolled out, and we're going to quickly do this one. The first one's always, to me, like the most difficult one, and then the rest kind of pan out really well. So we'll do the top. Of course, when I want to experiment with some chain ones, that's the one that's the bulkiest, but it's still going to be bulky because of the simple fact that you have hardware right on the sides. But you can work with it, just move it out of the way. Okay. And the interfacing, the Decaville light on this kind of gives you also the where like where to press your seam allowance to. So I appreciate that a lot. If you don't have Decaville light, if you have Woven Fuse 2 or Ultra or So Fuse Plus, they're great alternatives. Or you could double up on Shape Flex 101, like do 2 layers. It is going to be definitely a long irony section, but it's only for 2 pieces, so it's well worth it. Okay, grabbing my clips. Just going to clip these down. Checking this side, and I like how it's rounding out. Then I'm going to trim these down with a pair of scissors. Okay. Okay, and I'm just making sure that it's rounded like the way I want it, because we're about to put together the exterior. Now remember the seam allowance throughout this pattern is, I believe, we're going to do the seam allowance, we're going to sew around at 1/8 of an inch. We're going to match this line. That's why it's really important to have your lines drawn on the wrong side. You can use as many clips as you want. making sure. Having the folded ends match. So it's like a nice, clean finish. We're going to get squishy with this bag. This is why she suggests when you're using vinyl, use a thinner one. I haven't used a marine vinyl. I feel like it might be a little bit too difficult, but I think it's plausible and it can happen. I just think that it would be, because it's thick. Okay. So we're going to take this and we're going to sew 1/8 of an inch all the way around. This is where I'm going to say, if you had a free arm, this is going to be easy. If you don't have a free arm, make sure you have the tension settings right on your bobbin, and because I'm going to be sewing where I'm sewing the top stitching in the inside and not the outside, and the outside is going to be shown. So make sure you have the right stitch length, the right kind of thread in your bobbin, and take your time. It is definitely not a marathon. I mean, not a race, it's a marathon. Take your time and go slow. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to back stitch 2 or 3 stitches, and I'm going to follow the 1/8 of an inch markings on my main on my faceplate. If you don't have it, you can use a ruler, and from your needle you can do 1/8 of an inch and just put like wasabi tape or painter's tape or just anything, like, so that way you can recognize the 1/8 of an inch. With this is the time, if you're a really great top stitcher, where you can shine and use contrasting thread, or you can use the same color thread and give it a really sleek put together look. I'm hopefully not going to break clips. No clip breaking. And I'm just checking because the curve part we're about to go to, and I want to make sure everything is smooth as possible. So I will be using a nice awl. It's just a pointy tool. I'm just going to make sure that these pieces get sewn in together. And if you have to stop, because you see me stopping a lot, make sure you're going to needle down. You're just going to, I'm literally squishing the bag. It's not going to hurt it, because at this point there's no interfacing. And you can have so much fun with the colors. Like, I was thinking, if I had purple vinyl, I didn't have any, I would have made this purple and like had like probably contrasting like gold threads or silver, depending on whatever hardware I get. I usually pick my thread color based on my hardware. Like, I had originally picked gunmetal instead of silver for this, but I didn't have something, I don't know what I didn't have. So I was like, hey, you know, I would have used black thread or a dark silver or gray. Okay. We have one side done. See how it's already forming? Just make sure you caught everything, because you don't want to have like your whole bag done and you're like, oh man, I didn't catch that. So let's do the other side. Going to finger press to make sure, because the tape does want to get up. Glue is probably the best option, but again, double-sided tape works in a pinch. I'm just going to put these, I put the sides together where the lining is first. And then I just kind of work down. And do the same thing. I like this color, and I don't know where I got it from. It's, I think it's the car place. I got some foam, because I liked using foam on some bags, but I wanted to try like the foam that they use for automobiles, and they had this there, and I just was like, ooh, this is pretty. I'm one of those people that buys like vinyl and then have no purpose for the vinyl, and then all of a sudden, like a million years later, I'm like, yes, this is the perfect project. It's serendipity. Okay, so we have this. We're going to, again, I'm going to start here, back stitch, go all the way around at 1/8 of an inch. Go at your own speed, and just have fun. Like, you're creating a really beautiful, lush, high-end bag to the way you want it, the materials you want. So have fun, breathe, and just start sewing. You're going to be okay. And know that this bag gets squishy and it'll be fine. When it gets squishy, if you have to use an awl or something to poke it in, go for it, needle down. To the top. I'm going to make sure all the little corners are poked in. All right. I'm telling you, this bag comes together fairly quick. I could see this being a lot of people's gifts. I could see this be a really cool thing to sell, bags you sell at a boutique. Yeah, see, the bag is already coming together. That is crazy, isn't it? The bag is already coming together. So we have that. And then now we're going to do the interior. Put this down over here. All right. So we have the exterior flap, and then we have the lining. I'm using waterproof canvas, and I didn't have a solid one, so I'm a person that believes in using your stash. So I thought, well, this is a weird color green. Maybe it could be like a serpent, and then I put this in it. It's not normally what I do, but I'm just going to go with it. We're going to sew this exterior part to the interior main lining, right sides together at 1/4 of an inch. Make sure you do some back stitching. threads. Okay, so when we get here, we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of it, at 1/8 of an inch. We're going to press our seam towards the interior side. So we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch on the interior. Using waterproof canvas saves you not having to use interfacing. And there is a lot of cool prints out there for waterproof canvas where I think that it'll make an awesome interior or exterior. Okay. Okay. All right. Trim these threads. All right. So then we're going to, you need to draw your line 3/4 of an inch all the way around, and then we're going to do 3/4 of an inch on the bottom. So we're going to, you go to apply glue or tape like I did. I put the tape in sections so that way it wasn't completely like wonky going all around. So we're going to fold into that 3/4 of an inch. Just rolling it. Okay. I'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, we're going to cut down in that V motion. And I'm just going over one more time that I really press that down, the tape or glue. All right, then we're going to take the bottom edges. I'm throwing clips. We're going to take this, draw 3/4 of an inch on the bottom edge, and then glue down or tape down this portion to match the line. Okay, we got that. Now we're going to try to do the zipper pocket overlay. All right, we're going to measure this 1 inch down and centering it. So I'm going to take a clip and I'm going to draw a center mark so that way I know it's lined up perfectly. And I'm just going to use a good chalk pencil or a tandy leather pen, whatever you have convenience. I like the chalk because it just like comes off fairly easy. We're going to go 1 inch down and just grab a ruler to line it up. I'm doing 1 inch, 1 inch down. And then what I do is I take this and I draw my center at the top part with chalk. Okay. I'm going to remove the double-sided tape that I have on here. And I'm just going to match my center mark with the center mark that I drew in the chalk. And line this up so it's 1 inch exactly. Okay. We're going to go 1/8 of an inch around. If you have a label that you want to show, I actually think it's good to put it under here so it can show when you open it. I had my label put on the slip pocket and it's not facing going up so no one really could see it. So I'm going to take my label, I'm going to trim it so that way it doesn't see it, and I'm going to stick it right here so that way when someone opens up the bag they can see, oh, it's Nova Knits. Again, I think this will also be a great place to put if you have a metal label. Like this center part would be a really awesome place too. So when someone opens it up, they have like this beautiful, you can put it on the bag. I thought about putting it on the corner. I just, again, because the bag has like this really elegant, simple, chic line, I don't want to do so many labels. Okay, we have pockets. Okay, and we're going to cut in do not cut into your face, the face plate. We're just cutting around, so when we do put our zipper in, it could be nice and smooth. All right, so we have this all done. We're going to set this aside just for now. We're going to grab our zipper panel. We're going to take where did I put the zipper? I just had it. 1 second. See. I hate when you have the zipper on something and it just like magically disappears. I guess I need to come back because I don't see, and it's a gray color too with silver. I have okay, give me just 1 moment. Okay, so I found my zipper. It was literally underneath the hardware box. But because it's like gray, I don't know. I have a hard time finding these zippers. So we're going to take our zipper and we're going to sew them down at 1/4 of an inch on one side. And I already placed my zipper pull on there just so that way it wouldn't be frustrating when I'm trying to put it on. Afterwards, it's just something I usually do. Okay, then we're going to take this side and match it. One-4 of an inch. You could put clips in here if you need them. Or I also see some people like put beads of glue. It's pretty cool. Thin line of double-sided tape, like the 1/8 of an inch, so you're not actually sewn over it, but it holds it in place. Okay. Okay. We sewed that on, and then we're going to grab some double-sided tape. Use a lot of double-sided tape today. And we're going to place it where your stitching line is. Sometimes I just, because double-sided tape wants to move, I just roll it real quick. We're now going to take get our interior piece that we put to the side, and we're going to add this pocket. So you're going to take the double-sided tape off. 1 and 2. So we're going to place this down, and then what I like to do is I like to match the middle marks first. It makes life a little bit easier. And then I press down the side with the double-sided tape so that way it can match. And it looks good. You can adjust. That's the great thing about double-sided tape. You can keep on adjusting until you feel confident. Alright, so then we're going to top stitch the bottom at 1/8 of an inch. You're going to take your zipper pocket, and it's hanging like this. You're going to bring it up, and we're going to top stitch it so you don't accidentally sew it closed. We're going to top stitch the bottom. 1/8 of an inch. Okay, we're going to take this and trim the threads. Okay, so then we're going to bring the pocket back down. So when you open it up, the pocket's down. Make sure. We're going to go up, across, and down. 1/8 of an inch. So we can close off the zipper. It makes the stoppers. Take your time. Okay, we're almost done with the pockets. We're going to close up the pockets on the side. Should between all the threads. This is a pretty pocket. Okay, I'm kind of filling these two materials together. I was hesitant at first, but sometimes it just works. I'm close these down. Back stitch. And then we're going to go to the other side, trimming off the threads. Okay, look how pretty that is. That's pretty. Okay, so we have to make the slip pocket. We're gonna move this, grab the slip pocket. We're gonna put slip pocket right sides together. And I'm just gonna clip the top to keep everything aligned. And we're gonna do a 3/8 of an inch going down. Make sure you back stitch at the beginning. 8, 3 on my plate is 3/8 of an inch. We're almost done. We're at the home stretch. So just this is where all the magic's going to happen. We're going to put this slip pocket together and put it on it. And then we're going to line the lining and the exterior together, and it just makes it cool. There is going to be, if you don't want to do a chain stitch, a chain strap, then you can Toby's gonna have directions on how to make a regular strap for it that's made out of the same exterior fabric, and that could be something. And again, I will link, by the time this video comes out, I'll have a video on how you can make chain stitches and connect your swivel clasp. Sorry, if you guys can hear footsteps, that's not any of my children. That is my puppy. One day he'll make his appearance on here. So you're going to cut at an angle on the bottom. You're going to turn this right sides out. He sounds like a grown man, like running to the house. I'm going to take a chopstick and just poke out the corners. And I'm burning the chopstick on the seams to make sure it's as crisp as can be. You want to use a blunt tool, like I use sometimes the pencil end of with the eraser, because you don't want to poke through your stitches. You want to just have it nice and crisp looking. Alright, so we have that. We're going to grab our aligned pocket trim, and we are going to take some clips, put the pocket trim right sides together. I kind of like this technique too. We're going to sew at 1/4 of an inch. Make sure you're back stitching. All right. Then we're going to, trim. We're going to fold this over. And we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Make sure you have as many clips as you need. 1/8 of an inch. Okay, then we're going to take our scissors and trim off the excess sides and trim off the threads. Look at how pretty that is. That is it's super elegant. It's a new, I never done it that way. I usually use double-sided tape and fold it in on each other, but I kind of really love this way. We're going to take our interior and we're going to measure down 1 inch. And we can fold over so we can find our center. Grab the Choco pen or chalk, whatever you have handy that can easily be removed. We're going to go find our center. I'm going to draw a chalk mark lightly on the center of this. We're going to go down 1 inch. And the center is going to be there. I'm going to take some double-sided tape. And just, you can use 1/8 of an inch and just put it on the edge. So that way when I sew this, it won't shift. Okay. One inch. And make sure you're putting the pocket, the pocket going towards you, the opening towards you, so that way it's not backwards when you line up the lining. So we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. And I am a person that when I do top stitching on a slip pocket, I like to do a bar tack. So we're going to go down 1/8 of an inch, back stitch, and I like to go a little off off of the rim so that way it can have more structure, because this is going to be a place where people are going to put their cell phones. There's going to be a lot of wear and tear. So when I get off of the trim, I'm going to go, I turn my machine, my bag facing me so I can do a few bar tacks, and then I'm going back to the 1/8 of an inch. This is the reason why I put double-sided tape, because I know I'm going to do a little bit extra. Okay, I wasn't filling this lining, and now I kind of want more. And 1/8 of an inch is the inside of my foot, so I just follow that and keep it going. If you see threads on the way, just trim them off. So before I get to the trim, I'm going to do 2 steps, or 1 stitch forward and a couple stitch back, so that it just, like I said, it's a simple bar tack. If you do, if you make garments, then you might be really familiar with it. It's just something that helps secure the slip pocket, give it strength and area. All right, we're going to put the sides together. We're going to make a 1/2 inch line, and then you're going to fold it in on itself, which I'm doing right here. Grab the second one and do that as well. We're almost there. All right. So we're going to do the same thing like we did before. We're going to match right sides together without my curly hair everywhere. Like, man. Let's see. Right sides together. Just, I like to match the top first, and then like I said, I go kind of just follow it down. grabbing all my clips. Matching raw edge to raw edge. Just take your time and work in the curves. It's gonna all fit. Her pieces fit really nicely. Okay. We're gonna sew around this at 3/8 of an inch. It's really important if you don't see that it's like a 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, highlight that area with a highlighter or mark it with a pen, like double lines and red pen, so that you know this is when the seam allowance changed, so it can be easier for you. 3/8 of an inch, going around. It's okay to get squishy with it. Okay. Raw edge to raw edge. Okay. Trim the threads. And then we're going to repeat for the opposite side, and then we're going to assemble the bag. Okay. This is like the exciting part, because, I mean, you just put in all this hard work, and now you get to see what you created. And I think that this is an awesome bag. When you see it, when you're finished with it, you're going to feel proud. Like it's a bag that you accomplished, that you see in high-end stores, and you made it with your own hands. It's a good feeling. I love when you sew something at the end, you're like, man, I made this. You're super cool. It's a great feeling. And having a bag that challenges you is important too. The only way you can move up in your skills is by trying something that you've never done before. It doesn't hurt to try. It helps you out. And in the long run, it's kind of like in like school. Like, yeah, if you know if you're familiar with the stuff, you could pass a test. But if you study and you get like a perfect score, or you know, an A+ or whatever, you're feeling good because you know you worked hard for this. This bag, you just worked hard for. This is a very gorgeous bag. The pattern is brilliant. So 3/8 of an inch. Make sure you backstitch well with beginning and end. Raw edge to raw edge. And I'm going to take my stiletto and make it work with me. If you have a wrinkle above the sewing line, it won't show. If you have a wrinkle below, that's when you need to smooth it out. Tuck, pull, whatever you got to do. Okay. All right. So we have that all squared away. We're going to take our exterior piece and we're going to now start putting together the bag. We're going to match. We're going to put the lining inside. And we're going to match corners. Butterfly the lining so that way the bulk is evenly distributed. You want to tuck down the pocket. Last time I was like, why isn't my bag not flowing in there? Because the pocket was like up and creating bulk. You're matching everything up. Okay, see, I'm kind of feeling the lining. You have to understand, I really didn't like it when I cut it out today. I was like, man, I wish I had white or black. And nope. Sometimes the best things happen on accident. Okay, and butterflying this pocket to fit this seam. So see how it just like fits really well? All right, so after we put this together, we're going to top stitch from here all the way across to the other side. This is where you're either going to turn this bag inside out to do top stitching, or you can like move it around this way, or you could trust your bobbin. I'm going to go check the thread on my bobbin because I would be devastated if I had zero. Nope, I have a lot. If I had zero thread and I don't went bobbin chicken. So my tensions are set pretty good on the machine, so I'm going to trust the stitching. If you don't, then this is still soft, so you can turn this inside out and like sew from the side. So we're going to go from this seam all the way to here, 1/8 of an inch. Be comfortable with your bag getting squishy. It will bounce back because it doesn't have any structure in it right now. All right, 1/8 of an inch. All right, let's go. And I like to have my stiletto because I could push the exterior. Push the interior into the exterior. And just make sure. Just get squishy. It's going to be fine. Use your clips. When you stop, make sure you're on a needle down position. If the seams are too bulky, use a hump jumper, or someone else calls it like the Gina Majig. I was watching something. They're like, grab your Gina Majig. And I was like, what is a Gina Majig? And sure enough, it's one of those hop jumper things to balance it out if you're going up or down. I'm just flying clips everywhere. I'm just making sure this last seam, the butterfly, stays open. You could put, again, double-sided tape all the way around, but if your machine like gums up, this is like really important top stitching. So a million clips can do. Okay, I'm gonna trim the threads really well. It did really good top stitching. See, I like to, before I start any sewing, I'm a person that messes with my tension, because every piece of vinyl is not the same. Every piece of leather is not the same. So you have to figure out what stitching will work for you. Cutting those threads. Okay, the next part of this bag is the most difficult. Not even sewing the flap when we're gonna sew this down. It's sticking this in. You're gonna have to finesse it a little bit. It's gonna be awkward, but you can do it. You're going into the lining, in between the lining and the exterior, and you're going to... Okay, so we birth bags. I'm gonna call this the unbirthing. That's what it feels like. I, for one, think that I'm gonna try it this way. Fold it, then you're gonna have, it's not fun. I'm gonna let you, but it's so worth it. She actually puts in the notes, this is the kind of tricky part, but it's totally doable. You have to get between the layers, and that's if the bag wants to cooperate, but it's getting there. I kind of just kind of lift up the interior and kind of then you're hearing some serious unbirthing. I want to get the top portion butt up as far as I can. And the reason why I was saying crease your fabric, because if you crease it, then I'm not an expert. I feel like it works better and it wants to lay better. Okay. Okay, that went better the second time than the first time. I promise you, the first time I was like, what am I doing wrong? All right. All right. We're going to glue, or in my case, double-sided tape. We're going to double-sided tape or glue this flap down. And we don't want... You also can clip it. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to clip it. You can clip it, double-sided tape it. You can do whatever your heart contends. Whatever you think will help give you a better finished project. So, okay, I lied. I'm going to use double-sided tape. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. It literally makes your life easier sometimes. I'm going to I think what I'm going to do is put double-sided tape on the areas that have like the V mark, the V cutouts. And then going to okay, and then I'm going to put a strip on this side so it could stick together. And then we're going to do some top stitching. Do the cutout for the turn lock. Okay. Just matching like the V's to the other V, so that way it doesn't look, the top stitching won't look weird. I am breaking clips a lot today. My name is the Clip Breaker. What I do is I break all your clips in your sewing room. Let's see. Okay. Almost there. I need to trim this thread. All right. Okay. I'm just like popping them off me too. Let's see. All right, we're going to now top stitch at 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Now you could do the same thing, trust your bobbin, or you can. I'm going to be trust my bobbin and stitch from inside out, or you can just do outside, and I'll do outside, but I'm hoping it doesn't block your view. Okay. You're gonna have to get swishy with it. Okay, here's my water. Let's go. You just want to make sure the edges meet. When you stop on with the needle down. And just using my stiletto. Man, I'm moving everything on my table. Let's see. gonna trim the threads. All right, so we are going to now do the turn lock. We'll take this plastic off. And what I do is I put in I kind of just mark with the handy leather pen where this placement's going to be. Okay, so also before I punch a hole through all the work we do, I find my center. I'm going to draw a line, and then from there I'm just going to just play with this for just a moment to see where okay. So this is when you get your cutting mat. You're going to get the hardware, that you're going to get the female portion. You get your magnetic bowl so you don't lose your screws. Okay, so I take the back side and I usually draw out where I need to cut. And then I draw the holes. All right, and then I kind of just connect this to this. And I get my cutting tool, which I just had. It didn't disappear this time, yay. And I use a blade, and this is just like a cheap box cutter. And this is hard because I know this is a hard part because you're like, I just did this work and I don't want to mess up. Just believe in yourself because you could do it. If I could do it, you could do it. And then I'm also going to just grab some scissors. Don't cut yourself. Because I do that a lot. I don't want you to do that. Just move your bag around. You're going through like Peltex or Decoville Heavy and 2 layers of vinyl. It's going to be kind of bulky. It's okay. And it's better to cut little than more because you can always, you know, trim more. You can't replace material. You would have to do like a weird patch job, and it'll be functional, but it'll be frustrating because it's just more work. Okay. Let me get this side. Okay. So I'm going to get, I want to see how I can still see some of the material, I'm just going to get the plate. Just cut it out a little bit more. Cut little by little. The hole doesn't look perfect at first, but you'll get there. This is, to me, the most tedious part because you don't want to mess up. Okay. It's almost there. I think we almost have it. Let's check. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna clean up this one part and then it'll be nice and smooth. Okay, you're gonna have little burp bits everywhere. And drop your metal. Alright. It looks good. So I'm going to take this back piece. I promise you, every time I think that it's a-okay, there's just like a little bit more that has to go. But again, smaller holes means you don't have to do a wonky patch job. All right, so I'm going to stick this in the front. I feel like this material is like never ending. Okay. Stick this in the front. And I'm going to take I'm going to put the screw in and not tighten it all the way. I don't know if I might have to cut more. I'm trying to see. Give me 1 minute, I'll be right back. Okay, so you're gonna cut around like we did, and then we're gonna tighten each screw into the plate. Make sure you don't strip it, this could be a daunting and frustrating part. It still is for me. And I think it's always going to be, because it's a hard thing. You're going to fold in your bag. And then, voila, we have this. Now we're going to add 2 more elements. One is going to be your butterfly bling, and 2 is going to be your chain. So you're going to get your pieces that you cut out for your butterfly bling. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix that real quick. You're going to get your pieces that you have for your butterfly bling, and you're going to lay them on top of each other. Okay, so my husband found the green strip that I had, and now it's missing again. Oh, there it is. I got it. Okay. All right. So I'm using keychains, 2 of them, because my silver chains are still in the mail. So, you know, you got to work with what you got. So these are 2 keychain themes, like the metal chains. I'm just going to connect those if it wants to connect with me. You know, tonight little things are just not working for me, but it's okay. I'll work through it. I will persevere. So that's my dog barking. We're going to fold in. We're going to place these on top of each other. You're going to fold in, and then you're going to make them like kissy lips. So I'll show you again. I fold this in, and I fold in, so like they kind of meet in the center, and then I press them together. When you do that, you're going to grab, I'm going to put the chain kind of on the back, because we're not going to sew it. We're just making sure that it's part of what you sew. Like, you're not sewing through it. This is going to be in the back, but at least you can have your chain already fed through and you're ready to go. But hold on, I'm going to do this again. Fold it in, fold it in, fold it in, press it. And I'm going to just take it. You can feed your chain in later if you want. I can show you feed your chain in later, so it can be easier. Your butterfly wing, and then we're going to just stitch this down so it can stay like that. A few stitches back and forth. Okay, then I'm going to trim my threads. We're going to snip off the extra. Look how cute that is. Then I'm going to feed my chain through the loop in the back. Take my chain. I'm going to put it together. And if you have a smaller chain that you have links, I'm going to provide a video to show you how I do my links. I just have to wait for the material. So by the time you see this video, there'll be another video in reference to links. You have your bling, and then we're going to grab your chain. Now you can buy this chain. This chain I got at Bringberry, and me and my husband difficultly put these things on by putting it together, but I found a way to do it a little bit easier with the right tools, and I will show you that in a separate video.
With the right tools.
With the right tools is the operative word. So I'm going to connect this chain to my chain. And look at that. Oh man, let me get all this sewing stuff away so you can see. This is a phenomenal bag. Okay, first of all, I'm not just saying it because I made it, but like, I was reluctant on the colors. I was reluctant on the colors, and now I'm kind of feeling it. So you have your lock. You have your inside that has a zipper pocket, and then your slip pocket. You have cute little purse feet. You got some chains to make the bling. If you don't have chains, there will be an instruction piece for how to make a regular strap. A regular strap will look good on this too. You have your butterfly bling going on. This is a cute bag. It's a super cute bag, and I put the butterfly on the wrong way. It's a super cute bag, and I can see this just being everywhere. It's so high end. It's so lush. It comes together quickly. It's not many components in the bag, not a lot of pattern pieces, and a lot of like brand new skills that you and me haven't learned. Toby did an excellent job on this bag, and I can't wait to see how you make your bags. If you make the bag, then you can be in your part of Toby Styles group. You can share it. But you know, the possibilities are endless. Look how lush this bag is. It is absolutely gorgeous. And she made a phenomenal pattern that, like I said, could be on a domestic, industrial, what have you. It could be made with a lot of different materials. And this is just a beautiful bag. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you can comment, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, it really does help this channel out a lot. Share if you think it's worthy. I will have a link for where you could get this pattern and where the machine I was using and the needles. If there's something I don't put in the description box, please ask me and I'll be more than willing to tell you. So until the next time I see you, I hope you have a really great day and happy sewing. Bye.